Hello, you are welcome to class. In today's class, we are going to learn sentences. We are going to learn the meanings of sentences and the types of sentences by function. Let us get started. We use sentences every day, but how much do we really understand them? Today, we are going to dive into the world of sentences and basically learn how sentences function, the different functions sentences can take up while communicating or in speech. So let's get started. As displayed on the screen, we have the meanings of sentences by different scholars. Different scholars, different people defined sentences based on their perspective. And the first definition we're taking a look at is from Grammatical Theory by Otherstone and Pullum. They said a sentence is a minimal communicative unit consisting of a subject and a predicate. That is, before you can call an expression a sentence, it should have a subject and a predicate. This means that a sentence expresses a complete proposition or it expresses a complete thought and it conveys an independent message. That is, from a sentence, you should get or you should understand the particular message that the author or the speaker is trying to pass across. And this definition basically emphasizes the grammatical features of a sentence as well as highlighting its ability to help us to convey complete ideas. So, according to Addiston and Pullum, sentence is simply a communicative unit. You use the sentence or you use sentences to pass across information, thoughts, and communicate in general. And it includes a subject and a predicate. I have a video up already on subject and predicate. You can watch the video to understand what a subject and predicate means. But basically, a subject is the doer of the action, while the predicate is the remaining aspect of the subject or the remaining part of the sentence that tells us more about the subject. Moving on to the second definition from the Cambridge Grammar of English by Rodney Addiston, still our same person. It says the sentence is a grammatically complete construction that expresses a complete sense. Take note of that. It expresses a complete sense and has potentially the capacity to stand on its own as a complete and grammatically independent utterance. So when you have a sentence, you're simply saying that you have an utterance that is making sense. You do not classify an expression as a sentence if it doesn't convey or make sense. So anytime you're dealing with sentences, it has to make sense. It expresses a complete sense. It is sensible and it can be understood by whoever is listening to you. It is clear and easy to understand. So from this definition, we can deduce that completeness of sense is important and it is inalienable for a sentence. For you to have a sentence, for you to say, okay, fine, what I have said is a sentence, it must be complete and sensible. Whoever listens to you, whoever reads that sentence should be able to draw out meaning, should be able to take sense, to be able to make sense rather out of whatever you've said or you have written. We're moving on to the next definition by Gerald Coutts and Jerry Fodor. Okay. Okay. So Gerald and Jerry define sentence as a string of words that expresses a proposition. And what is a proposition? A proposition is the smallest unit of meaningful content. That's to be meaningful. All these scholars are coming back to the fact that a sentence must be meaningful. All these scholars, right, from Augustine to Pollum, are saying that sentences must be meaningful. And for Gerald and Jerry, they said a sentence is a string of words that expresses a proposition, and basically, a proposition is the smallest unit of meaningful content. That is, it has to do with the semantic aspect of grammar, that is, meaning. Meaning has to be conveyed. And before you can convey meaning, what you're saying has to be sensible. So that means sentences are sensible and they relate meaning. They relate meaning. Finally, for our definition by Defrid Christo in his book titled The Modern Grammars and Introduction, he says a sentence is a grammatically complete unit of language having a subject and a predicate and expressing a complete thought. Looking through these definitions that I've said so far, we can infer that almost everything, almost every type of sentence is still boiling down to the same thing. David said a sentence is grammatically complete. The first point to note, sentences must be grammatically complete and it must have a subject and a predicate. Even if it doesn't have a, even if the subject is not explicitly stated, it should still refer to a subject as a predicate and it must express a thought. For commands do not have a subject most of the time, but it is still sensible, it is still understandable, and it expresses a complete thought. So, from everything I've said so far, we can deduce that a sentence needs to do what? To have meaning, subject, predicate, and must express a complete thought. These are the points to note. The first point, sentences have a beginning, middle, and an end. Most sentences, they have a subject, that is the main character, the doer of the action, a verb, what they do, the action they are performing, and they usually end with a complete thought, that is your conclusion. The doer, the sentence, the subject rather, the verb, the action performed by the subject, and the complete thought, what that sentence is passing across as a whole. That is the first point to note. Moving on to the second point, we have each word is important in a sentence. Every word in a sentence is important. The words connect together to help us to build a complete piece of information. You cannot leave out a part of a sentence. Let's say the girl is beautiful. You can't just say the girl. What are you trying to say? You can't just say is beautiful. No, the girl is beautiful. Every word that exists in that sentence, the girl is beautiful, are all the words are working together to propel, to tell us the meaning, to help us to have a thought or a meaning of that sentence. And you can use different sentence types to create meanings and effects. But all that matters is that every word in a sentence is important. Every word in it, because they work together to pass across the complete thought or the complete message the sentence is trying to pass. The third point, when you read or hear a sentence, your brain tries to paint a picture of what it means. This includes the creative aspect of sentences. It helps you to create a mental picture It helps you to create a vivid and mental picture of what you have read, or of what you have said, or what you have heard rather. So a sentence helps you to paint a mental picture of what your sender is saying or what you are reading. Next one, sentences can tell you facts, ask questions, give orders, or make you laugh or cry. They are powerful and they are meant for expression. They help you to express your thoughts, they help you to give orders, they help you to ask questions, etc. Moving to the last point, sentences are building blocks of communication in grammar. As well, they serve as a tool for creativity. There is a mistake here. It ought to be they serve as a tool for creativity, but that aside. So sentences are building blocks of communication in grammar. If you want to communicate, you communicate through sentences. In grammar, you cannot say you want to communicate in grammar and you're just looking at your receiver, or you're just looking at the person you're speaking to without saying anything. Everything you say, every utterance you say, all boils down to sentences. They are the basic block. They are the basic blocks of grammar, of communication in grammar. If you want to communicate effectively, you need to take sentences seriously. So today we are going to dive into types of sentences, because this class mainly sentences as the grammatical functions of sentences, because we have different types of sentences. We have sentences by structure, but today we are going to learn how to make use of sentences by function, the functions of sentences. If this video has been helpful so far, do not forget to like the video and share it. And don't forget to drop off comments for me in the comment section. So in today's video, as I've earlier said, we're going to take a look at the different functions of sentences. It is just like a carpenter. When a carpenter is working, he makes use of different tools for various tasks. And you need to master these forms of sentences if you want to put out your words, if you want to put out your thoughts in an effective manner. In simple words, if you want to communicate effectively, you need to take note of your sentences usage by function. We have four different functions that a sentence can perform. And the first one is declarative sentences. The types of sentences by function. The first one is declarative sentences. And what do they do? Declarative sentences basically serve as essential function of making statements. We use it to make statements. We use it to share information. We use it as well to express facts. And they are clear, they are straightforward. That is just it. We use the declarative sentences to share information, to express facts, and to make statements. They follow simple and predictable structure. Their structures are simple and predictable. Most of the times, declarative sentences start with the subject followed by a predicate. And as I said earlier, the subject is what or who the sentence is about, while the predicate provides information or describes the subject's action or state. And take note of this, the punctuation mark you use for declarative sentences is the full stop or the period. Most of the times, you can easily identify a declarative sentence by the punctuation mark, which is the full stop. We have examples. The sun rises in the east. This is declarative. It's a statement that provides a fact about the movement of the sun. You know, the other time I told you that we use the declarative sentences to basically express facts, to share information, and make statements. The sun rises in the east. This statement is providing a fact about the sun's movement. The second example, we have my favorite color is green. Here, my favorite color serves as the subject and green forms the predicate. But what is this sentence telling us about? It is expressing a personal preference. That is just a straight to the point. The third example, elephants are the largest land animals on earth. They are the largest land animals on earth, rather. And the subject here is elephants. The predicate are the largest land animals on earth. And this declarative sentence basically conveys an interesting fact about elephants. They are the largest land animals on earth. So, moving on to I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want this video to be too long. So the function and the usage of declarative sentences. The first one, we use the declarative sentences to share information. Whether you are reporting a fact, you're providing details, or you're stating the obvious things happening, declarative sentences are your go-to to convey your information clearly, to share information. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. The meeting is scheduled for 2 p.m. That is it. It helps us to share information. The second function or use of declarative sentences is it helps us to express our opinions and beliefs. Declarative sentences allows individuals to share or express their thoughts, their opinions and beliefs in a straightforward manner. I believe that exercise is essential for good health. Chocolate ice cream is the best dessert. I'll go over that again. I believe that exercise is essential for good health, and chocolate ice cream is the best dessert. What is this telling us? This is telling us that what this person wants or this person's opinion. The second example is expressing your opinion that chocolate ice cream is the best. That is the person's opinion. Well, to the first example, I believe that exercise is essential for good health is telling us about the person's belief. So moving on to the next point, it helps us, declarative sentences helps okay, the declarative sentences help to make statements of fact. When you're presenting facts or you're making assertions, declarative sentences ensure that your message is direct and unambiguous. When I say this, I mean they are clear. They're easy to understand. The earth orbits the sun. That is a statement of fact. The capital of France is Paris. That is a statement of fact. So you have to get this right, that the declarative sentences helps you to share information, express your opinions and beliefs, and make statements of fact. Another work or another function of declarative sentences is they are they are effective tools for describing people, places, objects, and situations in detail. If you're a writer, you need to take seriously your uses of declarative sentences. Because when you're passing across your information, when you're making your thoughts known, you'd make use of declarative sentences. And most of the times, we realize that declarative sentences helps us to paint vivid pictures of what you're trying to say to your audience. So you have to take note of this to provide descriptions or more details. You can make use of declarative sentences. I would not really dwell on the examples now. They are displayed on the screen. I don't want this class to this video. Yeah, it's a class. I don't want this video to exceed 30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes is too long. Moving on to the next point, we use declarative sentences to share stories and narratives. In storytelling, as I said earlier, declarative sentences will help you to present your events, actions, and details in the story. Once upon a time, there lived a brave knight. Once upon a time, there lived a brave knight. The protagonist faced numerous challenges on their journey. So this is These are examples of declarative sentences that portray narratives or share stories. In essence, declarative sentences helps us to convey information, express opinions, state facts, provide descriptions, and tell stories. And you need to take them seriously. The second type, we have the interrogative sentences. As the name implies, we use it for asking questions. Declarative sentences are used for making statements, while interrogative sentences are used for asking questions. And what punctuation mark do we use with it? With them, rather, what punctuation marks do we use with the interrogative sentences? We use the question mark. Let us not mix it up. For the declarative sentences, we use the full stop, but for the interrogative sentences, we use the question marks. So, there are some examples. Is it raining outside? This sentence seeks information about the weather. What time is the meeting? This sentence is a query that aims to learn the specific time of an upcoming meeting. Where did you go on vacation? Where serves as the starting point for this question that is helping us to seek details about a recent destination. So, what are the function and usage of interrogative sentences? The first one, we use interrogative sentences to seek information. If you want to gather facts or details from people, maybe about their lives, their plans for the day, their preferences, etc., it helps us to obtain information. The second point, clarification. If you need clarification, maybe something is unclear to you, you can make use of interrogative sentences to seek your clarifications. Could you please explain that concept again? It's a means of seeking clarifications. The third one, we have engaging in conversation. They help us. I mean, the interrogative sentences help us to seek or to have conversations. What do you think about the latest movie, A Tribe Called Judah? I think that is the trending movie in Nigeria at the moment. And I have not seen the movie, but I will. So when you're engaging in a conversation, you can make it of interrogative sentences. It also helps us to interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence can help us to express our curiosity. Maybe you're curious about something, you want to know more about a particular topic, or you're seeking new experiences, you can make use of the interrogative sentence. Expressing politeness. We also use the interrogative sentence to express politeness. It means, when I say expressing politeness, asking questions in a considerate manner. It helps you to seek permission, seek assistance, or make requests politely. Could you please pass me the salt? Could you please help me? Etc. And another one is engaging in problem solving. I'm sorry I'm rushing this video, but I have to because of the time. I don't want this video to exceed 30 minutes. In fact, 30 minutes is quite bogus. So expressing politeness, it helps you, an interrogative sentence, it helps you to express politeness. Engaging in problem solving, when you're faced with problem or challenges, you can make use of interrogative sentences to critically tackle the problem. When I say critically tackle, you ask different questions, in fact, justify everything you need to get to the root of the matter. In conclusion, we use interrogative sentences to seek information. They are mostly inquisitive, to seek information, clarity, to engage, to express our curiosity, and to solve problems. If you want a copy of this slide that I'm using for this class, please get my book, The Art of English. Everything will be included in the book. It is just for a token. So imperative sentences are the third types of sentences by function. Imperative sentences are like the captain that orders a ship. It has a distinct structure, unlike declarative or interrogative sentences. They often omit the subject you because they are implied. And this omission helps them to stand out because it adds to their directness and clarity. They most times they end with the exclamation mark, and most of the time when they end with the exclamation mark, they are for emphasis depending on the tone and the urgency of the command. At times they end with the full stop too, but most of the time we end them with the exclamation mark just to show that this is meant to emphasize. An example, please pass me the salt, or please pass the salt. This sentence kindly requests someone to perform the action of passing the salt. You can see here, you may discover that it doesn't really have a direct subject, but it is still a sentence because it is imperative, it is implied. Shut the door. Shut the door. It's a command that is straightforward and urgent, instructing someone to close the door. The next one, study for your exam. You can see the changes in my tone as I speak. The first one, please pass the salt. The second one, shut the door. The third one, study for your exam. Let me go over it again. Please pass the salt. Please pass the salt. That is the first one. I'll go over them again, the examples I mean. Please pass the salt. Shut the door. Study for your exam. You can discover that the second example, shut the door, is more prominent. It is powerful because it emphasizes the a command with the use of the exclamation mark. So if you want to give someone a command, if you want to command someone, you can make use of this exclamation mark to show that you are emphasizing it. Now to the function and use of imperative sentences. We have the first one, to give direct commands. We can use the imperative sentence to give direct commands or order. And most of the time when you do this, when you use it to express direct orders or command, you are expressing what you need to be done with clarity and authority. Clean your room. Clean your room. Making request, that's another function of imperative sentence, of the imperative sentence or the imperative sentences. In a polite and considerate manner, imperative sentences can be used to make requests seeking cooperation or assistance from others. For example, please help me carry these bags, or please help me out, anyone you want. Offering guidance, you can use the imperative sentence to offer guidance or instructions, helping individuals to navigate tasks or situations effectively. Follow these steps to assemble the furniture. As well, providing advice. These sentences can be used to offer advice or suggestions, sharing recommendations or specific actions. Start your day with a healthy breakfast. Expressing warnings. Imperative sentences are also used to express warnings or alerts, ensuring safety and caution. You can discover that with everything I've been saying so far, every sentence you utter performs any of these four tasks. They perform any of these four tasks. Any of these four tasks. I mean, they perform any of the functions of interrogative, imperative, or declarative. We still have another type. But what I'm just trying to say is that anything you say falls under any of the functions of A sentence is by function. Your sentence can either be imperative, interrogative, declarative, or the last one we'll be talking about now. Another function is to give permission. You can use imperative sentences to give permission or authorize specific actions. You may begin the presentation. That is an example. Expressing invitations, you use imperative sentences to invite others to events, gatherings, or activities. Join us for dinner tonight. We also use them for suggestions. They help us rather to suggest ideas, actions, often in a friendly or helpful tone, depending on what you're trying to project. In essence, imperative sentences help us to direct, request, guide, advise, warn, permit, invite, and suggest, depending on the intention and the context of our conversation. Exclamatory sentences help us to convey strong emotions. They help us to convey strong emotions, whether it is excitement, surprise, joy, or frustration. You can make use of exclamatory sentences to showcase your feelings. You can make use of exclamatory sentences to showcase your feelings. And they have a distinctive structure. Unlike the other sentence types, they often begin with words like what or how, followed by the subject and the verb. Then they make use of the exclamation mark as the punctuation that indicates them most of the time. Because at the end of the sentences with an exclamation mark, which is an exclamatory sentence, just as the name implies, exclamatory sentences, exclamation marks. It's kind of interrelated. A kind of interplay between the two words. So at the end, they help us with the use of exclamation mark. The exclamatory sentences add emphasis and indicate the emotional intensity of the statement. What a beautiful sunset. How delicious this cake is. The first one, what a beautiful sunset, exclaims or tells us more or expresses our awe and amazement at the beauty of the sunset. Wow, how beautiful this cake is. Enthusiastically appreciate the taste of the cake. Wow, that performance was incredible. Wow, that performance was incredible. It is conveying our astonishment and admiration for the exceptional performance. The function of exclamatory sentences, the first word to express excitement. When you're excited, you can make use of your exclamatory sentence and make sure you put an exclamation mark at the end to indicate your emotional depth or to indicate your emphasis. I cannot believe we won the game. I cannot believe we won the game. Another one, we have conveying surprise. When you're surprised, surprise, surprise. When you're taken aback by something unexpected, you can make use of the exclamatory sentence. What is more what it is? When you're sharing your joy, you can make use of the exclamatory sentences to express your happiness and joy. I am going to be aunt. I am going to be an aunt. Hooray! Depending on whatever you want to say. Expressing gratitude. It can be used to express gratitude or appreciation with intensity and sincerity. Thank you so much for your help. That shows anyone would I am a keen person when it comes to punctuation marks. Anyone who thanks me or expresses gratitude with the exclamation mark, I know that this person is the gratitude is in depth. The person is so grateful. So feel free to make use of the exclamatory sentences when you are expressing your gratitude to show your receiver that you are really grateful. Thank you so much for your help. There's a difference between thank you so much for your help and thank you so much for your help. it can imagine the difference in the tone and the intensity. You can also use it to show frustration or annoyance. It is not limited to positive. Exclamatory sentences are not limited to positive emotions. They can also convey frustration or annoyance. Why is this happening to me? This question mark and full stop, this question mark and exclamation mark used together is called an interrobang. It's called an interrobang. This question mark and exclamation mark used together, it's called an interrobang. And we use it most times when you're trying to pass across annoyance. Yeah, the interrobang is a punctuation mark designed for use at the end of an exclamatory rhetorical question that answers it. Creating emphasis, you can also make use of exclamatory sentence to create an emphasis or to emphasize something, a point or dramatic, often in a dramatic and forceful manner. What a terrible mistake this is. Expressing wonder, you can use it to express wonder or amazement. How incredible this artwork is. You can also use it to convey sympathy or concern. It can be used to express sympathy or concern. How devastating the news is. So, in essence, we use the exclamatory sentences to express strong emotions vividly, whether we are talking about joy, surprise, gratitude, frustration, or wonder. And yeah, we've come to the end of this class. I hope the class is helpful. I hope the class is helpful. You can drop off your comments for me in the comment section. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you for joining this class. I hope to have you in my next video. Bye.